Last fall Bettis had cancer surgery. In the spring he had chemo. Now he's back in the majors. Colorado Rockies pitchers are used to the vicissitudes of life. Working at mile-high altitude, where the balls don't break as much as they do in any other ballpark, and travel farther when they're hit, where a handful of respectable starts strung together constitutes a small miracle, conditions them to expect all sorts of challenges. Nothing, though, had prepared right-hander Bettis, then fresh off a 14-win season, for the lump he would find on his testicle one night last November. That night, he stayed up researching testicular cancer, about which he had known essentially nothing. After a visit to a urologist he learned that the lump was, in fact, cancerous. On November 29, out the testicle came. Based on a follow-up screening, his doctors declared him cancer-free, and about a week after his surgery, he was back working out, running on an underwater treadmill, performing bodyweight exercises. The disruption had been so minor and temporary, he says, that he nearly didn't reveal his condition to the public. He needed only 3 more weeks to get back to full speed, and in February he reported to Rockies camp in Scottsdale, Arizona, like usual, ready for 2017. "I felt great then," he says now. "I was ready to put this all behind me." Then, in March, despite months of normal blood work, a CT scan during a checkup revealed inflamed lymph nodes. The news, after a biopsy, his cancer had spread. Bettis would need chemotherapy. On March 10, the day he was supposed to be making his second start of the spring, Bettis instead announced that he'd be leaving camp for a 9-week chemo regimen, with no timetable for his return to the field. Bettis has pulled off an astounding comeback. His return to the field happens Monday night at Coors Field against the Braves. He will start for a Rockies team that stands nearly an 80% chance of making the playoffs, for Baseball Prospectus, for the first time since 2009. His arrival will bolster a pitching staff that has, for a change, driven the team's success. By ERA Plus, which is ballpark adjusted, the Rockies staff has been the National League's 4th best. Somehow the 28-year-old Bettis will be the oldest starter of the bunch. That comeback seemed a lot less likely when Bettis sat in the chemo chair at Pinnacle Oncology and Hematology in Scottsdale on March 20. The feeling of that first week, in which he had daily treatment, compared to nothing he had ever encountered before. "People talk to me about it now, and I'm quick to say it wasn't that bad. But it was," he says. "I wasn't prepared for it, mentally or physically. I couldn't have been." Just having chemo treatments made him different from the other Major League pitcher this year to come back from testicular cancer. Pirates righty Jameson Taillon missed 5 weeks early in the season before returning to the mound on June 12 and beating, of all teams, the Rockies. The two spoke briefly when Pittsburgh visited Colorado in July, and though they were suddenly linked by a devastating illness, their physical and emotional toll was different because Taillon's cancer didn't spread. To Bettis's chagrin, his clean blood work didn't mean that he would have a light chemotherapy load than other patients. And 9 weeks of treatment, as a concept, just seemed insurmountable. "That would have eaten me alive," he says. So he conceived of his treatment instead as just 21 sessions. After the first 2,